Okay, so my phone is being dumb about recording things, so I'm going to try the webcam, so I apologize for the drop in quality. But, okay, so the question about scavenger hunt items. Acorns could be a lot of things. You could use the little tops of them for hats, and you're collecting hats for your sisters. You could use them to reward your squirrel friends when they help you clean your house, because they have very bushy tails and they're very good at getting the dust. Um, they could be for making people go nuts. They could be for making people go calm. They are super duper magical because they make wonderful tall trees, just like that one over there. So they're very magical and that they grow trees. Lots of reasons for acorns. What else? Let's see. Pine cones. I was thinking about this. Pine cones could be okay. You see, us in fairy world, we're very, very, very jealous of humans because they get to have Christmas trees in their house. And so we don't really have Christmas trees that are small enough to fit in our houses. So the closest thing that we can really do is get pine cones. And we'll decorate pine cones for Christmas, or we'll just decorate pine cones in general because decorating trees is really fun. Or we could talk about it being in your hair. I always think it's really funny to misunderstand something, because even if you're a nature fairy, you can still misunderstand something about nature. And be like, oh yes, I've heard of pine cones. I really want one because my sister says that they are very soft and cuddly, so I really want a very soft and cuddly pine cone. And they'll be like, no, but pine cones are really hard and rough and this and that and the other. Oh no, they're really soft and cuddly. That's what my sister told me. What, you think, is my sister messing with me? Okay, well, you might as well collect a pine cone anyway, because I'd like to see what it looks like, because I don't really know. That kind of fun thing. Or you could just talk about putting in your hair, because putting pine cones in your hair is awesome. I put everything in my hair. If a kid comes up and is like, Fairy, I have a stick, I will just stick it in my hair and be like, oh, do I look fancy? Ta-da! Let's see. Did I think of anything else for pine cones? You can also make pine cones into bird feeders, which will attract birds. That's something else that you could talk about. Let's see. Feathers. Feathers can be good for lots of things. You can put them in your hair. You can use them to clean your house. You can say that some of your birdie friends are missing their feathers and they need them to fly. Or, feathers are always helpful when you're having wing troubles because they help you fly. All kinds of funny things. I really hope they're fake feathers, because if they're real feathers and these kids are collecting these diseased feathers, please don't touch them, or let alone put them in your hair. But yeah, all kinds of funny things, and sometimes they can be used as magic wands, and sometimes they're just really good for tickling, and fairies love to tickle things. Or they can also make wizards sneeze, so that's another thing that they can do, because you can put them under their nose and they'll sneeze. So just make it fun, make it funny. Let's see what else. Pennies. Pennies are really, really wonderful because, well, first of all, pennies are really shiny and fairies like shiny things. But also, you see, humans have this saying, see a penny, pick it up, all day long, you'll have good luck. And since fairies are the ones that do the granting of wishes and making of luck, don't let those leprechauns fool you. We leave pennies all over the place so that everybody can have good luck that day, because we love, love, love making good luck for people. So I would love for every single one of you to find a penny, because that would make me so, so, so very happy, because then all of you would have good luck. So yeah, that was I think that's the main thing I thought of for that. Oh, what else, friends? What else, friends? Do. Flower bulbs. Now, I'm assuming these are like undead flowers and not undead, undid flowers that have not yet grown, or flowers that are in their little bud, or whatever. Yeah, flower bulbs. Tell them that there's something super duper magical about nature, and seeing a flower grow up is wonderful, and it's like seeing all of these magical things, and you see, that's magic. And you could talk about, somebody sent me an email, sorry. But you talk about the magic of nature, and you could also talk about the magic of science through that. I know one fairy who talks about magic, and if a kid is like, oh yes, like magic doesn't exist or whatever, she says, oh yes, no, magic absolutely exists. I think they call it something different in your world. What do they call it? They call it scientifitropolis. No, it's scientific. Scientific. Wait, no. That's a person who does it. Science, science. She just makes up like words around science before she gets to the actual word science, and then she'll be like, you see, because science is magic, and talks about how all of these funny things, and sometimes people who do science wizards, they can put things together and make explosions, or make flowers grow, or could make flowers different colors and all that kind of stuff. So you can also relate it to that, but that's only if you're wanting to get up on your soapbox and make sure that all the kids grow up to be scientists, or in our world, science wizards. That's where we get the term science wiz, because they're wizards. They're wizards in my world. That would be something that I would probably say. So what else? You might be able. Okay. But yeah, you can also talk about the stories surrounding those items, but I would mainly just talk about how they're used and how you would use them, or how one time a squirrel went nuts on you because you didn't have an acorn, but he worked so very hard, but he was okay because I gave him a pie or whatever, or like, whatever. And like one day, my beautiful sister, she showed up to a ball with all of these feathers in her hair, and it was so funny that the king and queen of our land, they thought that she was a bird, especially because she could fly, and most of the time birds are the only people that can fly, except for fairies, of course. And yeah, just funny stories like that. Do that. Ooh. What else? They're going to be giving you bottles of fairy dust to hand out to the children. This is dangerous stuff. Fairy dust is very dangerous stuff. So I would also be like, oh, be very, very careful. Try not to use all of it. And also make sure that anything that you say about the magic dust is loud, so that all the grown-ups can hear you when you say something. I try not to associate like fairy dust with flying, because kids are really dumb and they'll try to like jump off of roofs and stuff, or they'll be really pissed and be like, fairy, I didn't fly when you put it on my face, because I carry around dust with me, or cosmetic sparkles with me, and I don't call it fairy dust, and parents try to call it fairy dust, and they're like, oh no, it's even better than fairy dust, it's wishing dust. Which I also cover up with a lot of things as well. It's a lot easier to cover up than fairy dust and making you fly. Like emphasize granting wishes, because wishes are really easy to grant. But also I give a warning as well, like, because they'll be like, oh yes, will my wish come true if I do this and that and the other, and sometimes you have to be like, oh well, if you have a very good wishing fairy, because all fairies grant wishes, and some of us are better at wishes than others, and so like I always say, like, oh well, you don't want my sister Blossom to grant your wishes. She's very, very silly. She turns everything into giraffes, and unless your wish is to be a giraffe, oh my, she might not be the best fairy for you. And that way, like, if they wish for a mermaid tail, and then the next day they wake up, they'll be like, oh darn it, Blossom. Ugh. Well, at least I'm not a giraffe, So cover your bases with that. What else? What else did she say? Yeah, mini mushrooms. Mini mushrooms. You can see a lot of things. I definitely wouldn't suggest hallucinogen. Ugh. I would definitely not suggest its hallucinogenic properties. Even though part of me, like the really evil part of Fairy Bonnie, would probably hint at that. Oh yes, they make you see lots of colors. Ooh. That might make them want to eat it, so don't tell them to eat it. Tell them that they're very good for making sure that the fairies can sit comfortably, or if they're big ones, making sure that they can sleep comfortably. So because they're very fluffy, they're the chairs of our fairy world. Also, they taste really good on pizza, and also they make you see all of the scary things. Yes, they apparently make you trip, which I don't really understand because I would rather stand up. I don't like tripping because tripping leads to falling, and that's not fun. Don't say that to children. Bonnie's lived in California for entirely too long. I went to ministry school, people. Let me see. I think those are all of them. I also wanted to talk about, I'm trying to remember if I talked to you about this, Lindsay, in the last time I video chatted with you. The thing about flying and smallness and all that kind of ilk. Because people are going to ask you, can you fly? Well, of course I can fly, silly. Can't you? And they'll be like, no, I don't fly. Oh my, well that makes no sense. Like, why not? And like, always try to redirect it. That helps. Like, oh, wait, you can't fly because you don't have wings? That's just the silliest thing ever. I know so many people who fly without wings. But you, like, they'll also be like, okay, so can I see you fly? It's like, oh yes, I would love to show you a fly, but I have to be much, much smaller first, you see, because when I come into human world, I have to make myself very big, or else the pirates might try to catch me. Have you ever heard of pirates? An ongoing theme in my parties is that I'm afraid of pirates because pirates like to put fairies in jars, and it's so terrible. Oh my gosh, have you ever been in a jar? It's terrible. Everything's clear, and you keep running into the glass, and oh, it's terrible stuff. Sorry, I'm hilarious. So yeah, like say like, you know, I have to make myself big because that way I won't be as easily caught in a butterfly net. Or something really, you know, come up with an explanation. I had to be big because otherwise they won't give me birthday cake or whatever if I'm too tiny. I won't be able to eat as much cake as I would like, and I'd like to eat the whole cake if I can. Whatever you can think of. I also like to give the explanation because they're like, oh, well, make yourself small again. Well, do you have a flying tree? They're like, what's a flying tree? Well, a flying tree is a very giant purple tree. And emphasize that it's purple everywhere. The trunk is purple, the leaves are purple, the flowers are purple, everything's purple on it. It's a very purple tree. Do you have a flying tree? You don't have a flying tree? Okay, well, it might take me a little while to shrink down then. I'd have to find a flying tree. Maybe we could go on an adventure to find a flying tree. Okay, don't intend to do an adventure, but still. What else? I also have a fairy sister that, and you have to be really convincing with this. She will stand up. She'll be like, oh, yes, well, I've been shrinking since I walked into the party. Can't you tell I'm shorter? And she'll stand up and she'll be like, see, I used to be this tall, and now I'm this tall. That works too, but I've tried it once or twice, and I've had kids that were just like, no, you look like the same height, fairy. And then I'm like, your face looks like the same height. This is why I'm a professional. What else? So yeah, the flying. Another thing that really, really helps, and say this loud so that all the grown-ups can, in turn, like, make it bigger. They can continue on with what you're saying. Is like if they say, oh, but we really want to see you fly. Oh, I would love to show you how I fly. And right before you leave, like you can say, oh, I'll show you how to fly when I leave. How does that sound? Okay, good. And then right before you leave, they'll be like, oh, but Fairy, we didn't get to see you fly. And I'll be like, okay, yell it really loud so all the parents can hear you, and then emphasize your point later in 5 minutes. Okay, well, do you want to see me fly? I would love to show you. Okay, in 5 minutes. Okay, remember, 5 minutes, not 5 seconds, not 5 hours. Oh, 5 hours would be terrible. 5 minutes. I want you to look up at the sky, and you are going to see a giant sparkle, and that sparkle is going to be me. So remember, look up 5 minutes. Say it really loud so all the parents can hear you, so that they can also look up in 5 minutes and tell you that. So, and I will have kids that like parents will text me afterwards and they'll be like, oh yeah, they totally saw the sparkle in the sky and they lost their flipping minds and whatnot. Because like they want to see you so bad, and there is a natural sparkle in the sky most of the time, especially if it's cloudy. So, yeah, nature, science wizards. Anyway, so yeah, I wanted to address that. I wanted to also address like again, the whole like asking for something that you can't offer thing. like, it is so totally okay to say that, like, you don't know how to do something. Or to say, I don't have one of those in my face paint kit, or I don't have one of those in my balloons. Like, oh no, I'm so sorry, I don't have a Darth Vader in my face paint kit today, but I do have this. Would it be okay if I get this? No, I want to be this and not the other. Oh my, I would love, love, love to, but I'm so sorry, I left mine at home. So there's nothing I can really do unless you would rather have this instead. It's either this or no face paint. Oh, so terrible! No face paint. That would be so sad. I would rather you have a face paint. Wouldn't you rather have a face? Okay. And like, honestly, like, one thing that, like, especially if a parent is asking for something, I like to say, oh my, I need to learn that. That would be so amazing if I ever made that. Like, acknowledging that, like, that is a really cool thing, and that would be so super amazing. And I would love to learn how to make that. I think I might go home and learn how to make that tonight. As in, like, really considering what they've said, so that it isn't just like a complete disappointment when they say something like that and you can't give it to them. And honestly, y'all, these are kids. They will get over it, okay? Really stay strong. Keep your faerie on. Be really serious about, like, one balloon and one face paint. So, and I would announce that at the beginning of everything, like, okay, so everybody is going to get one balloon and one face paint. So how many balloons do you have if you pop your balloon? And they'll all be like, what? No, you get 0! See, 0 balloons if you pop your balloon. So we have to take very good care of our balloons, since we only get one. And be very, very serious. Do not let those kids have an inch. They will take a mile. And if a balloon pops, come up to, like, they'll be like, I popped my balloon. I'm so sad. Oh my goodness, so sad, friend. What happened? Oh no, didn't I tell you that balloons are very allergic to grass? That's another announcement that I like to make. Balloons are very allergic to things. They're very allergic to grass. They're very allergic to pointy things. They're very allergic to teeth. They're very allergic to being thrown up against things and being treated like a soccer ball. They're very allergic to a lot of things. And don't you remember me saying that? Oh no, friend, I'm so sorry. But everybody only gets one. That wouldn't be very fair if I gave you one and then all the other little ones, they want more too. And then they'd be like, but it's not fair. Oh, yes, I know it's not fair. I'll tell you what. How about if I have time towards the end, I'll make you one. Does that sound good? And now you can go play and play and play, okay? And maybe if you're really, really super nice, one of your friends will let you play with theirs and all that kind of stuff. But I never actually intend on making them an extra one at the end. Like, a lot of things can be deterred until later. Like, oh, my faerie, I want to see this and that and the other, and can't you turn this into a thing? Oh, maybe if I have time at the end, right before I go home, I'll show you how to do that. Does that sound good? Like, never. I feel so bad. I totally lied to children. Don't worry about it. Don't feel guilty. It's all in the name of magic. Let's see, what else? My mom wanted me to address the Bonnie Lies Over the Ocean thing. So, only sing like the main verses. My Bonnie lies over the ocean. My Bonnie lies over the sea. My Bonnie lies over the ocean. So bring my Bonnie to me. Bring back, bring back, bring back. Bring back my Bonnie to me. And just repeat that. Don't go into the whole, like, I dreamed that my Bonnie was dead. Because that will make the children very upset. Because, well, Bonnie being dead is a terrible thing. Don't we all agree on that? And as I told you, make it a game. Every time the word be is said, stand up or sit down. Or, like, make something funny happen. Like, every time Bonnie is said, clap. Or every time a word with a B is said, clap. And remember, like, remember to announce it and make it a really big deal. This is a spelling song. Does anybody know about spelling? You know how to spell? Oh, fantastic, fantastic. Okay. Now, do you know the letter? It starts with a B. Okay, B. And now, what's that letter again? B. Have them repeat it a few times so that they really get it in their brain. So make sure that you don't understand things so that they will eventually understand things. But yeah, and then be like, every time a word with the letter B, that's right, happens, we do this thing. So yeah, this is a 20-minute video. I'm so sorry. Ugh. Good luck, Lindsay. All right, let me know if you have any questions, okay? Bye.